right, so just tell us your name, your town, and your running age group.
Hi, my name is Marc Scrivener. I am from Willimantic, and I am in the 50 to 59 age group.
All right. I got a lot of questions, and also some of your running friends and others submitted some questions.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself first.
About myself?
Yes.
Well, I've been in Willimantic for going on 22 years. I'm the fire chief here in town.
Yep.
I have 2 adult children.
All right.
And I've been running about, well, I started running when I turned 40.
Okay.
I'm 51 now.
All right, so about 11 years. And what made you start running?
You know, I had transitioned from working on the line as a firefighter to the administrative offices. And I noticed myself getting out of breath going up the stairs. So
yeah.
I knew I needed to do something more. And I always kind of wanted to take up running, so bucket list thing. That really what was the genesis of it.
And you know, tell us a little bit more about this beautiful town.
Well, you know, I love living here.
Yeah.
I grew up in Hebron, but of course I would come here
yeah.
as a kid for the movies or for shopping or whatever.
Yeah.
And when I took the job here
yeah.
22 years ago,
yeah.
That's when I fell in love with the community.
Yeah.
You know, it gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
But I have found the good here. There's a lot of good people.
Yeah.
And a lot of good things happening.
All right.
And we're an up and coming community.
That's good.
Right now we're building a big community center
yeah.
downtown. You might remember the finish line for the Willimantic Classic.
Yeah.
That's where it is right
there.
Oh
wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
We'll run by it later.
Yeah. When is that gonna finish?
Well, it's delayed.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're thinking by Christmas.
All right, well, that's great. So, tell us more about when you first started running, the first time or the first race.
Well, first race, I'm pretty sure it was Manchester Road Race.
All right, that's a great race.
Yeah, and I don't really remember what got me there.
Yeah.
But I was hooked immediately. I got there hours early.
Yeah.
And I had really not run with others.
Yeah.
I'd only run by myself.
Yeah.
And hadn't realized that I was doing okay.
Yeah.
And I got to road race early. I put myself right where the edge of the seated area was.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a minute before the start, they drop the barricade you can push into the seated area.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what my time was, but it was good enough to get seated for the following year.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow, so you started pretty good.
So I was hooked.
Yeah.
A couple days later, Charlie O'Brien,
yeah,
who you just interviewed.
Yes, great guy.
He had a 5K up in North Windham.
Yeah.
On a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I ran, and I'm pretty sure I got an age group award.
Yeah.
And again, immediately hooked.
Yeah. All right.
So that's really what drew me into running. And then it was kind of a scenario where I wonder what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And I continued to do some races, but I set my eyes on a half marathon.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about anything. But I figured out that there was one in February in Colchester.
Oh, you started a tough one.
Yeah, well, of course, I'm at the start-finish line. And somebody said to me, "You didn't expect this to be flat, did you?" I said, "I have no idea. No idea what to expect." So that was a lot of fun. And then I said, well, if I can do a half marathon, if I can do a full marathon.
Yeah.
So that year I ran Hartford And my first marathon was right around 3:54, I think.
Oh, wow.
And again, I didn't know any idea how to pace it.
Yeah.
I ran across the 4-hour pacer.
Yeah.
And said, I think I'll stick with you. And then pulled away from him later in the race. Just had no clue. Hadn't even, you know, I don't even think I even owned a running watch at the time. So I didn't even know what my pace was.
What to do, yeah. Willimantic Athletic Club, or WAC. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, you know, WAC is a club that's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And it's had its highs and lows.
Yeah.
We, a few years ago,
Yeah.
when we started first it was called Willy Whammer, then the Willimantic Classic half marathon.
Yeah. Great race.
Kind of had a high.
Yeah.
We, unfortunately, our board of directors quickly burned out.
Yeah.
With trying to have a life and a job and run a race with not enough people.
Yeah, it's not easy.
And probably about 2 years ago, we all vacated the board, and you know, the current crew is well, there's nothing going on with a pandemic right now. So,
yes. Yeah.
the club is kind of in a holding pattern, I think.
Oh.
But there's a dedicated crew that will always be whackers, as we call ourselves.
Oh yes, I run with a lot of them. Which marathon was the biggest one you run?
Well, I've run New York City.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to get in the lottery the first try.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lucky.
So I found a bus that this fella at the time, I don't know if he still does it, was chartering out of Stratford.
Yep.
And I parked down there, stuck in a kind of a shady motel.
Yeah.
And for I think $50, I took the bus ride right to the starting area.
Yeah. Wow.
So we got stuck in traffic and we ended up having to run like a mile
Yeah.
to get to the starting area
Yeah.
to make our wave. But,
Yeah.
then he picked us up on the west side of Central Park.
Yeah.
It was great. What a race. 50,000 of your friends, you know?
That's a great race to be.
And I had been given the advice to try not to PR,
Yeah.
to just enjoy the race.
Yes.
I took that advice.
I remember a while ago after you run that race, someone tracking you down
That's
and
right.
send you the picture. Tell us about that feeling.
A fellow by the name of Spencer Lasky
Yeah.
works in the movie industry
Yeah.
as a techie,
Yeah.
but he's also amateur, maybe semi-pro photographer.
Yeah.
I had been given the advice to wear my name and my profession
Yeah.
on my bib.
Yeah.
So I put Marc, Scrivener, Fire Chief, Willimantic,
Yeah.
and he took my photo in Brooklyn. And sometime later, he looked me up on the web and sent me an email
Yeah.
and said, I have this photo of you. Now this is 2013.
Yeah.
We're still Facebook friends to this day.
That's great.
We talk from time to time.
Yeah.
Real nice fella. I also remember my arm being really sore from actually my shoulder.
Yeah.
From all the high fives I gave along the way.
Yeah.
Even the homeless guys are out there high-fiving people.
What's the longest distance you ran,
So
race-wise?
I've done a couple 50Ks
Okay.
on trails. I was training for my first trail marathon, which was Nipmuc, and running with a friend who kept saying to me, hey, you got to do Bimbler's Bluff 50K with me, which is 3 weeks later, I think.
Yeah.
And I said, Cindy Barassa, I'm just trying to get through my first trail marathon. She said, you're gonna be fine. I agreed to, if I had a good marathon at Nipmuc, I would do Bimbler's. And everybody told me I wasn't gonna have a great race because Nipmuc is, you know, really tough race.
It is.
And as it turns out, I was really well trained and had a great race. Finished with plenty in the tank, probably ran too conservatively, but a week later I did Hartford Half, and then the week after that I did Bimbler's.
Wow.
Which again went really well for me. I'm very happy with that. So I've done Bimbler's a couple times. I completed Trap Walk, trap rock once and DNF once after a pulled muscle.
Yeah.
I did Dr. Park 50K, Josh Burles, race director.
Josh, again. Great guy.
I know he got a shout out from Charlie too.
Yes.
Tough course.
Yeah.
But I recommend it. It's a great race.
All right.
It's a running festival. You could do multiple distances.
Yeah. And what town is that?
That's in Voorheesville, New York.
All right. So, how did you transition from road to trail?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I don't really remember. Somewhere somebody invited me to run trails. And I always was somebody that really appreciated the outdoors in the woods. I'm gonna take it right up here.
Yeah.
And it was a really very natural fit for me
Yeah.
to run trails. I fell in love with it immediately. And really prefer it to road running. We're cutting through a corner of the Eastern Connecticut State University campus right now.
All right.
Definitely one of the shining stars of our community.
Yeah. My next question is race-wise. Long distance races for marathon and above, or even half. How do you prepare fueling-wise?
Well, honestly, I'm kind of a pizza and beer guy. If I'm feeling a little bit more disciplined, you know, a couple days beforehand you start with the carbs, but honestly I don't really have much of a regimen.
All right.
So I find no matter really how I fuel for a race, my stomach is a wreck.
Yeah.
You know, an hour before
Yeah.
the race starts.
Yeah.
Just out of excitement, I think. And so I could be very well disciplined or have a, you know, pizza and beer night
Yeah.
before a race, and I'm still going to end up spending a lot of time in the porta potty.
Yeah.
But from, you know, obviously I try to do what everybody else does. Is
Yeah.
have some carbs a couple days beforehand. Yeah, the road race is going to be maybe Goo Chomps or the jelly bean sport beans. If I'm desperate and I have to take the goo gel or whatever it is,
Yeah.
I have to sip on it, because if I take the whole thing at once, it'll really upset my stomach.
All right.
Of course, when you sip on it,
Yeah.
it turns into a sticky mess. Those aren't my favorite.
Yeah.
Trail race, I'm about real food.
All right.
You know, I love boiled salted potatoes.
Yeah.
I love running across a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
Bananas. Whatever the real food is on a trail race aid station,
Yeah.
I will certainly avail myself of it.
Yeah. So talking about aid station and the importance of volunteering, I saw you a few times volunteering, and when I needed the food, the most you was there. So tell us the importance of volunteering races.
Yeah, I mean, so races that are in my neck of the woods,
Yeah.
I feel some obligation
Yeah.
to volunteer to.
Yeah.
Certainly if they're a race put on by a club that I belong to.
Yeah.
So we, you know, like Nipmuc South, or sometimes the full Nipmuc Marathon,
Yeah.
the Goodwin 30K. Those are the typical ones that I volunteer at. Certainly Wilmette Classic, and shorter, smaller races as well. It's fun. We like to sometimes have an aid station that's themed.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've been known to dress up in Oktoberfest clothing or silly outfits or
Yeah.
whatever, and just make fun of it.
Yeah.
You know, a couple times when we've done Goodwin or Nipmuc, people emerge from the woods.
Yeah.
And we're all in lederhosen with mugs of
Yeah.
M&Ms, you know?
Yeah.
And we hand them a mug of M&Ms, and their minds are blown.
It is.
You know, if they're suffering, it lifts up their spirits a little bit.
Yes.
Helps them run out onto the trail again with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
So you know, we can't have races if we don't have volunteers.
Yes.
We all got to do our share.
Yes.
And certainly, if you're at all injured, that's a great time
Yes.
to volunteer, to
Yes.
stay connected to your friends.
Yes.
Because when you're injured and you're not running, you feel like you've disconnected from all your friends.
Yes. So, talking about injuries, I know you had some, so
Well, you know,
how did you recover? And
yeah.
so
So the two main things that have bothered me over the years is 2013 when I ran New York City. I was kind of just getting over plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
And that was simply a change of shoes.
Yes.
I had really some pretty bad plantar fasciitis with bone spurs on the heels.
Yeah.
I changed the shoes, went to a wider toe box,
Yeah.
0 drop, and that seemed to clear it up fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It's never come back.
Yeah.
But I do pronate pretty significantly.
Yeah.
And I had tried training for a 50 miler. In fact, I completed all the training.
Yeah.
And was in so much pain.
Yeah.
And really took me years to figure out what was going on with my foot.
Yeah.
My right foot in particular.
Yeah.
And I just pronate so bad.
Yeah.
That even orthotics
Yeah.
don't really fully compensate for it.
Yeah.
So I've come to realize that although I could live with the pain and tough out the longer distances,
Yeah.
probably half marathon is probably where I need to be right now.
All right. Yeah.
You know, and like this morning, I taped my ankle kind of up a bit.
Yeah.
Try to keep it from rolling inward as much.
Yeah.
And I probably should do better with finding some exercises to strengthen my support of my ankle. I'm at a place right now,
Yeah.
particularly in the pandemic,
Yeah.
where no races on the horizon,
Yeah.
where I've gotten very comfortable with cross training.
Yes.
So
It's important.
I want to preempt the question,
Yeah.
how many miles a week you run?
Yeah.
And it really is, some weeks it's none.
Yeah.
And some weeks I'll run 3 days.
Yeah.
But I have no problem really maintaining a fitness level where I can do 6 to 10 miles
Yeah.
at any given day.
Yes.
And
That's pretty good.
I have a spinning bike at home.
Yeah.
I have a rowing machine, which I love.
Yeah.
I have an elliptical
Yeah.
stair stepper.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So right now I'm at a place where I just do what I feel like doing.
Yeah.
I come home from work
Yeah.
and I say, what does my body feel like it needs today? And maybe I'll row for an hour.
All right.
Or maybe I'll ride. I've been adding in some high intensity interval training on the
Yes.
spinning bike.
Yeah.
And I feel good. I am not, you know, the 170 pound marathoner that I was some years ago. I'm
Yeah.
a little over 200 pounds now. But I feel fit. I feel good.
That's good.
Yeah.
So these questions was submitted, some of them your friends that you know, some running friends that you might not know. So the first question is, I think that one we already covered, what motivated you to run, but the next question is, did your future son-in-law beat you fair and square at Bolton cross-country race?
You know, now that I'm 51 years old, I'm having some memory lapses on that. No, I'm kidding. Boy, I'm sure he probably did. He's now my son-in-law.
Yeah.
Then my future son-in-law.
Okay.
We definitely were jockeying back and forth a lot back then. I'm sure he must have kicked my butt at some point. I do remember one Bolton where he was drafting off me, and then I heard a stumble and a oof, and he was rolling through the bushes as he tripped.
Yeah.
So he didn't catch me on that particular day. I miss Bolton. That's a fun race. Hopefully we can do it this summer.
So the next question is, what are your long-term goals in terms of running or staying in shape?
That's a great question. So, you know, obviously being in my 50s,
Yeah.
I want to arrive at 60 fit and healthy.
Yeah.
I look up to a guy like Warren Church,
Yes.
who's, I don't know, is he 80, 81? Warren has been extremely active his whole life. And, you know, I always forget his age because he may be chronologically in his 80s, but, you know, he's a young man at heart. And he's always been fit. That's kind of my goal, is to stay fit, to continue doing the fun things that I like doing with my friends.
Yeah.
Running through the woods.
Yeah.
And enjoying myself.
Another question that was put it on Facebook. If money was not an issue, where in the world would you like to run?
Oh, well, it would be fun to go to Europe and run some races there. My buddy Charlie Eaton's got a son in Zurich, and we've toyed with the idea of doing a marathon out in Zurich. Probably won't happen, but something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I probably could afford to go race overseas if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I just don't really care to spend the money.
Yeah.
There's so many great races, you know, within a couple days of this location.
Yeah.
I have particular fondness upstate New York and certainly Vermont.
Yeah.
So that's probably where I'll focus my racing in the next few years. Is in the New England plus New York area.
A lot of beautiful races in here.
That's right. Great trail races available.
Yes. What do you do to try to stay injury-free?
Well,
since you dealt some of them before already.
We could probably go back to the cross-training answer.
Yes.
I wish I knew, you know, I guess people tried to tell me, but as the saying goes, you don't know, people can't tell you. And if I was to meet the Marc who was 40 years old and running for the first time, and be able to talk to him, I would say, look, dude, you've got to cross-train.
Yes.
You've got to do something other than running. Running is not enough.
Yeah.
And so, to stay injury-free, it's all about cross-training for me.
All right. So the next question is yes or no? And shorts over tights, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
All right. That's fair.
I don't mean to offend anybody that does that, but that is not for me.
Yeah. And I know you touched a little bit about advice to new runners, but what other advice besides cross training you would give to someone who's starting running?
You know, there's so much to be learned. The best way to do it is to get around experienced runners. Obviously you got to do your own research and that sort of thing, but soak up as much as you can.
Yeah.
Go to workshops if like a Fleet Feet or somebody offers one.
Yeah.
You know, don't be afraid to go to a physical therapist if you have something bothering you.
Yeah.
Get ahead of it early. But occasionally run with somebody a little bit faster than you.
Yes.
But don't feel like you have to kill it on every run either.
Yeah.
Sometimes running slower is better.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had times when I've PR'd after having really done almost no speed work for a while.
Yeah.
I just kind of worked on my base.
Yes.
And did not expect to PR and pulled it off. So it's just, there's a lot to learn. You gotta look at people who know that stuff.
Yeah. Where are we right now? We are.
This is start line for the Boombox Mile.
Yeah.
July 4th, we have the infamous or famous Boombox Parade. We'll make so like an hour before we run the Boombox Mile.
Yeah.
And people say, well, it's only a mile.
Yeah.
Well, you're running a mile at hard exploding pace.
Yeah.
There's a couple little ups and downs.
Yeah.
Test your mettle for sure.
Yeah. And the parade, already by that time, people are sitting on the sidewalks cheering for you, just like a marathon.
Yeah, well, that's the cool thing about it is you have this audience that you probably wouldn't otherwise have.
Yeah.
For a race.
Yeah.
That's a mile long.
Yeah.
5K.
Yeah.
So, and there's all this activity at Chilson Square, which we're going to run by. People getting ready for the parade. So, as you're coming through the finish line, there's a lot of people kind of there to cheer you on.
Yeah.
It's a fun race for sure.
Yes, and the parade is fun too.
Yeah, the parade is so much fun. Hopefully it comes off this year. There's a better than average chance we'll have it.
Yes, I hope so. I hope
so. You know, I would encourage people to make and bring a float. Anybody can be in it. They just got to show up. get your running club to put a float together.
All right.
Come out, have fun. It's not quite a Mardi Gras experience, but it's, you know, it's not far off.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll, instead of running it for my own pace, you know, a friend will ask if their child could run with me.
Yeah.
And I'll pace the child.
That's great.
And that's almost as much fun
Yeah.
as running it for your own pace.
That's true.
Seeing that kid
Yes.
come across the finish line.
Yes.
And inevitably, they go out too fast.
Yeah.
So you've got to talk sense into them. And
It's all about pacing, yes.
yeah, I enjoy that a lot.
It's a beautiful race. I love it. I think I did about four or five times.
I've run it in my turnout gear a couple times, and that's a challenge.
So the one other question that somebody submitted. What do you like to do fun besides running?
Well, right now it doesn't seem like much of anything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm spending a lot of time at work, and time at home is consumed with reading books or just being in my own space. But during better times, you know, we have a lot that goes on in this community.
Yeah.
I like to get involved in those things.
Yeah.
Whether it be, I don't know, volunteering for a fundraiser, or whether it's going to a parade like we just talked about, or
Yes.
going to support some function in town.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's so much to get involved in around here.
It's true.
But I also, you know, this ties in with our earlier conversation about the hollow.
Yeah.
I certainly snowshoe, I kayak,
That's good.
I get on I have a road bike, trail bikes,
Yeah.
so I can ride the rail trail. We have rail trail going 3 directions here. You could run from here to, well, Pomfret,
Yeah.
here to East Hampton, or here to Manchester.
Wow.
So I ride my bike in those directions.
Yeah.
And my oldest daughter, who's 27, I think, has gotten into riding on the rail trail with me this past year.
Yeah.
I also like going up north, Adam. I really enjoy the Adirondacks,
Yes.
climbing mountains,
Oh, wow.
and just enjoying Adirondack life in general.
That's
Getting away, decompressing.
That's great.
Yeah.
So the next question is, how running helped you cope with COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, you know, it's the first few months of the pandemic, I didn't run with anybody. I
Yeah.
was just spending time in the woods,
Yeah.
mostly at the hollow.
Yeah.
And I certainly enjoyed that time to decompress
Yeah.
and work. My work this past year has been pretty stressful, to be frank.
Yeah.
Certainly not as stressful as somebody working in an emergency room or dealing directly with patient care.
Yeah.
But I've got 29 people to take care of, people that work for me that I need to keep healthy.
Yeah.
And, you know, this has been a tough year in that way. So my ability to get out in the woods and run really has allowed me to decompress.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we haven't been able to run with friends much,
Yeah.
at least not until the last few months.
All right.
And so I have found that to be difficult because, you know, not having any goals or races to go after, I've this year become a fair weather runner.
Yes.
And so getting out and running with you this morning
Yeah.
feels fantastic because you motivated me.
That's good.
I was up for 3 hours last night at a fire, and
Wow.
if it wasn't for you coming here,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten out of bed.
That's good.
But I'm so glad I did.
Yes.
And so the ability now to start to reconnect with friends
Yeah.
and run
Yeah.
kind of be the next phase of coping with the pandemic.
All right.
I just wanted to put in a plug for Willimantic. We're running by one of the eyesores in town that's coming down in the next so many weeks. I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've got a parking garage going up. I already mentioned the community center, which we're going to run by in a minute. We are a community that's coming back.
Yeah.
And there's so much heart and soul here that this community is absolutely going to blossom.
Yes.
And, you know, it's not a straight line. It's a zigzag.
Yeah.
And sometimes you make gains and sometimes you lose things, but we're headed, our trajectory is in the right direction.
That's great.
And I expect really great things in this town in the next decade or so things are really happening. And we've alluded to it a few times, but we're running in a minute by the community center that's going up.
Yeah.
It's humongous.
Yeah.
Is it the biggest community center in Connecticut? No, but it's such a change for Willimantic. It's showcased right on Joseph Square, which, by the way, has the Shabu stage. It's this gigantic stage that we put up a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And we had a good, first year, I guess, before the pandemic came. It had some great concerts. I expect many more in the years to come. But, we could accommodate probably, 5 to maybe even 10,000 people on Joseph Square.
Wow.
And I think we're only limited by our parking creativity here.
Yeah.
But
parking is a problem everywhere.
Yeah. But we're gonna do it.
Yes, that's good.
We're really gonna have a vibrant downtown community in the next decade.
That's great.
The malls are closing. Small right now, I can't tell you the names, but there are restaurants that are nationally known.
Yeah.
3 or 4 or 5 of them have contacted us and said, we want to relocate into downtown.
That's great.
And the town said, you mean North Windham? No, we want to be in downtown Willimantic.
Yes.
So there's something happening there.
That's great.
Here we go, we're going by the community center under construction. What a change, huh?
Wow.
That's so different probably from the last time you were here.
Yes.
And right next to Joseph Square, Shabu stage.
Wow. It's a big difference.
Yes. We've had one of my favorite concerts. So we've had these people a couple times. There's a cover band called Get the Lead Out. They're a professional quality Led Zeppelin cover band.
Yeah.
And my goodness, we've had so much fun down here at Gilson with them. They're just fantastic, and that's just a small slice of what is to come, I think.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to run by the Frog Bridge here.
All right.
Yeah, this is our iconic Frog Bridge, where there's a great story about Windham that during the French and Indian War, most of the able-bodied men were off the war, and the remaining settlers heard an awful commotion one summer night.
Yeah.
And to them, it sounded like war cries from Native Americans, and they hid in their basements and root cellars, came out in the morning and saw no sign of any attack on their village, but did find that frog pond had pretty much dried up, and that the frogs were fighting each other for the last of the water and making quite a ruckus in the meantime. Yeah. And as a community, for years we were lampooned for that. Yeah. But now we've really embraced it, and the frog has become our town symbol. Yeah. I run a couple of races over there, but it's good to see that frog close to the finish line. You know, when the bridge first went up, I was a little less than impressed, but I absolutely adore it now. Yeah. I think it's fantastic. That's good. People come to see the bridge, you know? Yeah. So, runners, in many cases, are known for being craft beer kind of fans. We have a great place here in town called Willimantic Brewing Company. Yeah. And they're big supporters of all things philanthropic, but certainly supporters of our running community. That's great. And it's kind of the heart of our town, the pub and the restaurant. Everybody, you know, eats there and drinks there on a regular basis. That's great. And what street is on that on? Well, it's right next to Town Hall. All right. Right on High Street. We ran by it already. Yeah. We're gonna go that way. Yeah. And I'd just be remiss if I didn't point out that they're part of our running community. Yeah. But also, this loop we're doing, Adam. Yeah. I hesitate to admit this, but we ran by a little local drinking establishment at mile 5. Yeah. And during the summer, I've been known to stop to throw back a pint and then finish the run. You know, because we're on the last mile. Yeah. So it's not a recommended thing, but I have to say, when it's 90 degrees out and you're dripping wet, that pint at mile 5 can be pretty exciting. Yeah. You know, people ask me, is Willimantic safe? Yeah. And the short answer is, I believe it is.
Yeah.
You know, I raised daughters here.
Yeah.
They would walk downtown
Yeah.
to their jobs and things.
Yeah.
Never had any problems.
That's great.
Not to say that they couldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I want to recognize that women have a real different experience running than men do. Women are harassed and catcalled and treated very poorly while running.
That's
and
true.
as a man, I'm never feeling safe.
That's true.
But you know, as communities go, I feel as if we are all safe running here, no matter if you're male or female, black or white, Latino. Yeah. This is a safe community
Good to know
run in. I believe that.
Yeah. Good to know. So my next question is, a lot of people might not know, but when you talk about 169 pounds, Willimantic's not listed. Tell the people the reason why.
Yeah, you know, you're right. Willimantic is one of those towns like Mystic, or it's not a town. It's a taxing district. Yeah. It was a town of its own. It was a city at one time many years ago. Yeah. It merged with Windham. And so Willimantic is a taxing district within the town of Windham. All right. And we're one of the same. Yeah. Now, Willimantic is really where the police and fire coverage is full-time. Yeah. So the taxing district pays for that. That's good. But you won't find it on your 169 map.
Yeah. That question comes out a lot similar like to Mystic. My next question about your sneakers. What do you wear? What's your favorite?
Right now I'm wearing either any given day Ultra or Hoka. Yeah. I find both of those to be agreeable for me. I started running a Nike Free because I liked the low, you know, the minimalist feeling of them. Yeah. But that really is what gave me plantar fasciitis. So I need a stable shoe with a decent amount of cushioning. Yeah. Well, I prefer the white toe box usually. So either Hoka or Ultra. We have a shoe store here in town, Adam. Yeah. The Shoesmith. All right. And I try to support them. Yeah. And what street is that on? It's right on Main Street, right near the Frog Bridge. Okay. You can park at the pavilion next to the Frog Bridge and walk down the stairs. And they carry Hoka. That's good. So I try to support them. It's important to support the local business. Yeah. They're not I wouldn't call them a running shoe store. Yeah. But they do have a selection of Hoka road and trail shoes. That's right. I'm really glad that you came out today, Adam. Thank you for doing this. Really, I enjoy it. It's very cool that you're starting this running vlog. Yeah. I hope everybody subscribes. I subscribed to it on YouTube. Yeah. But I'm really glad for the opportunity to run with a friend as well. It definitely feels like it's been a long time. Yeah. And you know, staying motivated, getting out, it takes kind of having that friend to socially commit to. Yes. To get out of the house. Yes. It's easy to this time of year, we're going into February, to get kind of in the winter blues. Yeah. Kind of get stuck in your house. Yeah. And during this pandemic, during this time of year, we got to find somebody we feel safe running with. Yes. And get out of the house. Yeah. And enjoy the company. Yeah. And I can tell you, the run goes by so much quicker. Oh yes, it really does. Yeah. It really does. It's amazing because, you know, when you're struggling to get out of the house, it's cold, your motivation isn't there. Yes. Every mile seems to be 5 miles. Yes. This morning, I feel like we could run a whole lot more. It's still, you know, feel like we hadn't done much. Exactly. It really went fast. So now that we finish our run, tell us how you feel after you finish. I always feel like $1,000,000. I really do. And that's how I feel this morning. I feel great. Thank you so much. All right.